then I guess you click share screen, right? I guess entire screen. I mean, if you're planning to share with them, and I can just check on your.
Yeah.
Is this on the DSI channel?
Not yet. I haven't posted it. Let me actually delete my MariaDB stuff just to get the just on control.
Yeah, well, you are live right now, so it should be okay. Okay, and then you have nothing on your webcam. It just has like a black.
Yeah, I know. Mario had the same thing.
But that should be okay. But yeah, that should be okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Is there anything else waiting at the door? Yeah, that's all good. Just yes. I guess I can just open up the PowerPoint proper. Yeah. Okay. Get in there. Why is it? Yeah, that explains it. Good. What you here for? What are you here for? Yeah. That's good. That's all right, man. I was just setting everything up. Okay.
You as the workshop coordinators?
I'm one of them.
Was it one of you guys that sent out you guys ever submit a flyer for this? Or was it like a flyer that you posted?
Yeah, that was
request, but
I think this afternoon.
yeah, they didn't send it till literally the day of.
Yeah, that was me, bro. I filled it out because last workshop I was here. Right.
Yeah.
I remember this. Oh shit, I gotta fill out the thing. I Googled and filled it out. And I forget to submit. I just closed it.
You're good. I'm one of the social media coordinators. I just want to make sure one of us can like plug that to you.
No, it's all good. Feel free to sign in. Okay.
You know, this is going to go until all the way to 6, or it's going to get out early.
I haven't timed it, but it should be 6 at the latest. I know there's another workshop after this.
Yeah, I'm
trying to
get out of here early.
Let me check the door.
What's the workshop for, I think? Or video?
Ah.
I don't think they're open. It sounds like a good spotting.
You want my LinkedIn? Sure. Why?
I have like good connection.
Sure, I guess. It's not like I'm super active on it.
Yeah, that's fine.
When I was here,
What is that?
2 years, I can send it.
I don't know how it works at all.
It's okay, I barely know you. I'll send it to you.
It's fine. I'll do it. Sure. You don't have to do it. I'll take someone.
Ooh, actually, repost the live stream. Get a few more minutes for some people to show up. Can someone in the Discord check if the live stream is working?
This one's it in? The one?
It's in the workshops channel.
Maybe.
You sure?
Alright.
It's a black screen? Oh no. What about now? Oh no. I have no idea how to fix this. Can you at least hear me?
What is it?
Never mind.
Yeah.
So you can't see any of this. Let me stop sharing.
I was looking 6 minutes ago, it showed, 4 minutes ago, it turned into a 5 seconds. When we were doing this,
I didn't do anything. Yeah, let me try doing this again. Okay, now check. Maybe it's lagging behind a little. There we go. Okay. You see the PowerPoint?
it's showing you, it's on like a little bit of a way, but should be
Can you see it? Okay.
it's showing, I think, maybe now we're getting to others. Staying on this.
Oh, what the? At least it's working now. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, it's showing.
All right. Everyone signed up? Yeah. All right. I guess I'll start then. Okay. Hi guys, I'm Mark, and this is the introduction to SQL. So, first, what is it? First, I'm just going to go into detail on what SQL actually is, some of its applications, and then I'm going to go over like how to actually use it, and then we're going to go into the practicals, actually get hands-on with it. So first, what is SQL or SQL? SQL is short for Structured Query Language. It's a standard thing used for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data in relational databases. It's essentially like structured, organized data. It's super common. Chances are, if you're going into any sort of work involving data science, you will come across SQL at some point. So it's really important that you at the very least pick up the basics. One thing to note is that SQL has a bunch of flavors. Think of them as like dialects of a language. You have MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, so on. They're all mostly the same. It's just a couple commands that are written a little differently. If you know one of them, chances are, if you know one of them, you could very easily pick up another one if you have to. So, what is SQL used? What is SQL used for? Well, in the business world, you can make decisions from sales data, so for customer behavior. In the tech space, you can power web applications, e-commerce sites, and tech platforms. In finance, you can analyze financial data and trends and all sorts of market behaviors. In healthcare, you can manage patient data, medical records, and research. And then you have your everyday stuff, your food deliveries and your social media. So chances are, if you use any sort of app on anything, you probably secretly ran into something that uses SQL. So it's pretty prevalent. Now, you're probably sitting wondering, okay, that's cool and all, but how do I actually use SQL? Well, just about every command can be split into 5 types. You have your data definition language, which essentially involves like creation of tables and databases. You have data manipulation language. This just involves like modifying, editing, adding data within those tables. You have your data control language. This is just involving permissions. Your transaction control language is just transactions. And you have your data query language, which is actually involving the querying process. For this workshop specifically, we're just going to focus on data query language. If there's one thing to note, it's that sometimes people will group DML and DQL into one thing. That's all right. Just know that for what we're doing today, everything is going to involve select. So some common commands, you have select, which selects data from a database. You have from, which that allows you to specify which table you're pulling from. We have where, which is essentially a filter that allows you to filter your query. If you want to rename a column or a table, then you want to use as. That doesn't sound super useful, but it is. I'll show you later. You have your inner join or join. There's a few different types of joins, but this one is the most common, and that's why it's typically shortened to just join. And what it does is it combines the rows of two different tables that have matching values. So if you want to take a query from multiple tables, you can use join. On is the column on which you're joining the two tables. Group by, that means you can just group your data into logical sets. So for example, if there's a column that has a bunch of values and each of those values has a certain something, and you want to group your data by something in each of those values, use group by. And you have order by, you can just order your data. By default, it is in ascending order. This is involving numeric stuff. However, you could specify descending by just having desk at the end of your line. And or, those are just, you can just combine conditions of those. With and, everything has to be met. With or, only one thing has to be met, standard programming. Having is also a filter command, kind of like where, but it's specifically for group data. So for example, if you're trying to group by something and use where, it's just going to fail. So instead, you're going to have to use having for that. Distinct is something you use with select if you want to select unique values of a column. Limit just limits the rows that are returned from a query. If you want to count the number of rows, use count. Sum returns the sum, and average returns the average. This may look like a lot. Don't worry, we're going to cover all of it in the practical exercises. Just know that these are pretty common and that it's easier than it looks. So one thing to note before we start all the installing stuff, the order you code your query in is not necessarily the same as your execution order. When it comes to coding, you're always going to start with select and then from, and then where group by having order from it. When execution, it starts out with from, so it picks out the table that you start with first, and then it starts filtering that table with where, and then it groups, and then having after group by, and then it selects the columns you want to pick, you want to query by, and then it orders, and then sets limit. So installation, all right. So it's not super difficult. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to go to Mateo's workshop. It's on his GitHub. So just over here. It looks like this. It should be on the Discord. If not, just go to GitHub and search up his username. Let me know if you guys find it. Once you're there, just scroll down until you see SQL. Click on that. And just download the SQL 2024 problems. Just download that. Click on this link here, as well as the world.sql. This is the database that we're going to run our queries on. So once you download both of those, you could download the solutions too later on if you want to, if you're stuck or if you feel like looking at them later. But if you want to take the problems on your own, just install the problems and the world.
I was applied for this thing like an hour ago, and I was yeah, yeah.
Okay, so from there, you're going to want to just search up MariaDB. Just click on that. And from here, click on download. These steps are also on the workshop GitHub as well, if you need them. Scroll down and click download again. And the wizard should be installed. Once that's done, just open it up. And it should look like this. If it says something about OS, just Windows people. I guess I don't have that. So once you're on this screen, just click next. Read through this if you want. I'm just going to accept. Next. Click next again until you're on this screen. Now, this screen's really important because you need a password for the root. It's essentially the user that has all the permissions. So just pick a password. Make sure to store it somewhere safe. Don't forget it. I'm just going to pick a random password for now, but make sure you don't lose it because otherwise it's going to get pretty rough.
Doesn't work all figured out.
Okay, so once you have a password, just click next. Click next again and install. And you just wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. And once it's installed, just click finish and you're set. But the hard part is over. But if you're on Windows, there should be something called Heidi SQL that is installed. It probably has a shortcut. So just open that up. It was installed along with it, so at least in my case. If there's another administration tool for MySQL and you have that, you could open that too. This is just what I'm going with. You should be on this screen though if you're using Heidi SQL.
I'm asking something for that commercial service. Click on this.
If you're on something like this, just click open and type in your password. If there's like a password, username, password screen before this, or if you don't have a session name, just click new. Log in. Trust me, getting that to work is probably the hardest part of learning about SQL. The commands are actually really easy comparatively. So you should be in a screen that looks kind of like this. And let me actually just close these. Now, the first thing you want to do is go to the top left, click File, and click Load SQL File. And just click world.sql. And you're going to want to do the same thing for the SQL problems file. So File, top left, Load, and Workshop Problems. Just do that for now. What you want to do, you click on the tab for world.sql and just click this blue triangle, this play button here, and that will execute the file. And what this essentially does is it creates the world database. Might take a little bit, depending on your system. No problem. And after that, just click this green circle, refresh. Why is it? Okay, there you go. And you should have a thing here for world. And it has 3 tables. now that everything's ready, we can finally look at the problems. Only took 28 minutes. So first thing we want to do is we want to select every single record from the city table. So this one right here. If you want to look at what the columns look like, by the way, you can just go to the right here and just open columns in city, and you'll see the names of the columns as well as the variable type. Now, if you want to select every single record from city, first you're going to want to select. And it has to be from city. So if you want to select everything from a table, what you want to do is just click star. I mean, you can just type in every single column, but if there's a billion columns in your table, that's going to take a while. So the star or the asterisk was made for that. So just run that, and voila, the table. Right. If you want to be a tiny bit more specific, say you want to select the name and the region from the country table. So that's this one. And we have name and region here. So just select, type in the names of the columns you want to select. Don't worry if it auto-corrects auto-corrects itself to be all caps, that's fine. And then on country. And just run that. Okay. Maybe I do have to care about it. Why is it doing that? Hold on. Oh, okay. I see what. Yeah. Every time you end a query, make sure to have a semicolon. Otherwise, it's going to get confused. That now it should work. Why are you like this? Oh, what? Now, okay. Now it should be good. Yeah. There's a random line at the end of the. Okay, let's get a little more complicated here. Say you want to find out which countries are from North America, the continent. Pretty simple. You're going to want to select country, select name, the country. And since you want to filter by a certain value, we just use where. And just make sure, yep, it's continent equals North America, in quotes. Just run that. And there you go. If you want to check which continents, if you want to make sure they're all from North America, then just also select continent if you want. And oops, look at that, all North America. That's good. Now, say you want to filter by multiple conditions. So if you're from North or South America, well, just do the same thing. So this time, what do you suppose you should do? Yeah. Nor. All right. Or what? Continent equals. Yeah, you got to specify which column every time. So let's run that. And just to make sure we're not wrong. North and south. Yeah. So now, say instead of an or, you want to filter by conditions where both conditions essentially. So, which countries are from North America and became independent after 1900? What do you suppose we should do now? And what? Nice. Let's see if that works. Okay, we have something. Let me just check real quick. That's so sad. There we go. North America and everything's after 1900. Sweet. Okay. Now, say you want to list the top 10 most populous cities and their population. Well, it's telling you top 10, so what do you think we should, what extra command should we have here? Limit. Okay. So select the cities. So we go back here, we have name and population, city, and what should our limit be? It's top 10. Top 10. It's the top 10 most populous, so what should our limit be? 10, yeah. Okay, let's see if that works. Look at that. Mhm. I don't think this has every single city in every single country, but I heard it was Tokyo, but I really didn't tell you what's in this table.
It's just the first 10 cities.
Yeah, it's the 10 cities with the biggest population in the table. Yeah, want to check? They are indeed ordered. What the? Wait. You know, yeah, you're right. You're right. This is the city table. Let me try descending. Okay. No, because it's not ordering anything. Actually, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. About that. I just picked the first 10 cities in the table. Try. Throwing. Here we go. Mumbai. That makes a little more sense. Mumbai, Seoul, Sao Paulo. So if you want to pick the top 10 or bottom 10 or whatever number, just use order by. That's the main point of that command. And then limit it by whatever you want. So moving on from filters a little bit. How many records are in the country language table? So if you want to count how many rows there are, Records is rows. That's the same thing. If you want to count, you just select. Well, what do you want to do if you want to count something? What command should we use? Count. We want to just rows from country language, and that is 984 records. So that's nice. Now, how many distinct languages are in the country language table? So if you want to count unique languages, what should we do? First, we have, well, you want to count something, so we have to do count. And we want to count languages, so count language. But if you want to do distinct languages, what command should we use there? I just said it. How many distinct languages? The command's in the question is distinct. There we go. Distinct language. Oops. From language. I keep forgetting the semicolon. Don't forget your semicolons. It'll save you so much trouble. There we go. 94, and there are 458 unique languages, or at least unique values in the table. There's probably more than that. So that's count in a nutshell. Let's move on to another math thingy. So what is the sum of the surface area of all countries in Asia? Okay. So you want to select something from the countries table. What do you want to select from this? Surface area, okay. And you want the sum of the surface area. Yeah, you get it now, see? Hold on. There we go. You're right. We want every Asian country, so we need a where. Yeah. So how big is every country in Asia? That big. I think it's in meters, I think. Actually, no, maybe kilometers. I don't know. It didn't really tell you. But yeah, Asia's pretty big. So that's sum. You have to use it exactly like count. Except make sure you're summing numbers. Otherwise, it's going to get a little weird. So now, so you want to find the average life expectancy of each region. Should probably specify this is a country table. So you want to select something from the country table. Select region. And what are they asking? Life expectancy. Yeah, not just life expectancy. You want to go average. See if that works. Yep. Why did it do that? Right, that's why. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, there we go. So if you want to use average, or if you want to sum by essentially, if you want an average or a sum for each group, you're going to want to use group by. So as you can see, not many people live in Antarctica. And varies pretty greatly. So that's a lot of groups. So which regions have an average life expectancy of, let's say, more than 75 years? So we take the same query, and what else should we add to it? See if that works. No. Let's see if that works, actually, just for curiosity. This is what you say it was? Where average is greater than 75?
Yeah, I thought.
Let's see if that works. Uh-oh. Yeah, see, I mentioned this earlier, but if you're doing a group by and you're trying to filter based off of an aggregate, so say sum, average, or count, where is not going to work. You need a separate command for that, and that is where having comes in. So instead of just writing where, having, and let's try it now.
So is having for any
Having is like where, but for groups.
Yeah, and so like if the stuff that's not explicitly in the data set.
Basically, if you're taking your columns and you're summing or counting how many stuff, or there's an average, you're going to want to use having. Basically, if there's a group by and you want to filter by that group, you're going to want to use having. So, wait a minute. Wait, this is the wrong. Hold on. Let me actually delete some of this so you can actually see the tables. Don't worry, it's still here. There we go. Those are all the regions that are average greater than 75 years. You know, we have the obvious ones: North America, Southern Europe, Western Europe. Hold on, let me check.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah, it has to be the same line.
You can put your query in one line total.
Yeah.
The thing is, it just doesn't work.
Because you do that kind of student.
That's I did the same thing earlier. If you have a table we're going to pull, if you want, you could delete all the stuff in your problems, but then your work would be gone. So what you could do is just open a new query and take the back half of this. Where are you? Just take the back half. Paste it there. Problem solved. So just run this. And here we go. So we did count, we did sum, we did average. Let's try joins now. Joins are actually really important because they're what you need if you want to combine two tables. They're the easiest way to combine two tables. So say you want to combine the city and country language tables. So just select, if you want to just open them for funsies, you're going to want to select everything. And now we just pick city. You can pick city or country language, either or is fine. And you can put either join or inner join in this case. They're essentially equivalent. So join country language. And whenever you type in a join, you have to specify what you're joining on. In other words, what column you're joining the two on. So between city and country language, you have to find a column that has the same thing for both. And in this case, we have city has country code, and country language also has country code. Now, we have a little bit of an issue here. They're both named country code, and SQL doesn't like it when you have two columns with the same name. So what could we do to change the names of these columns? Or even the tables? As. Nice. So I'm going to change the city real quick to as C1 and country language as C3. And we're going to join them on country code and country code. Now, whenever you're picking two columns or columns with the same name from different tables, just specify the table name first, and then dot, and then the name of the column, and set that equal to C3 country code. See if that works. And voila. We have combined the two tables. The reason I changed the name is just so I don't have to write country language over and over. Makes it quicker. So that's about as simple as joins can get. Let's pick a little more difficult one. So what is the smallest Spanish-speaking city and its population? So right off the bat, we're going to pick something from city. Okay, and we're going to want to select the name of the city and its population. Now, the city table has nothing to do with language. There is no language column in the city table. So what do you think we can do to check, to filter for languages on the city table? Yeah, it's in the country language tab. So yeah, nice. So you can join country language. I'm going to change this as C1. Again, country code. And now, since you want to filter by a certain thing, what should we use? Okay, just to be sure here. If there are, I mean, if the tables don't have the same names, you don't have to do C1 dot, C3 dot, but it helps to keep track of what columns are in what tables. So let's see if this works. Oh, okay. Yeah, we need the smallest one. So what should we do here? There's no and. You're not combining multiple. The limit's not really like a where type of thing. Like you're just
I
saying.
was just like thinking that there were both conditions, like the CPU range has to be bigger, and it has to be smaller.
Yeah, you don't have the limit. If you want to like just check top or bottom, just use limit. You want to by default it's an ascending order, but if you want to check,
How do you know which city?
that is true. You know, I keep forgetting order by. That's tragic. Now check. There we go. Belmont. Yeah. Sorry, I keep forgetting. If you want to pick the smallest or the largest, you got to use order by. Don't worry, there's one more chance. Last question before we can head out, because it is getting kind of late. What are the top 5 most common officially spoken languages? This is a pretty beefy one, so don't worry if you're a little confused. So if you want to go with common officially spoken languages, how do you suppose we should go about that?
I'll probably say most populated according to my top 5 most population with spoken language.
Okay, so let's start off small here. Remember, first thing that SQL checks is where you're taking your values from. So most common languages, so you're going to want to check country language, and you're going to want to select the actual language. Just for funsies, we're going to put SC3 language. And just to make sure it's official, you don't need to do this, but actually, no, I'm not going to do it. Forget it. You're going to you want the top 5 most officially spoken languages. So where language, sorry, is official equals. Let's try running that first. Sometimes if you're doing a really specific query, it helps to just simplify it first and then keep adding filters until you're satisfied. Just a little tip. Okay, so far so good. We want the top 5 most common. So to do that, we're going to need a count of some kind. Now, country does have a population here. Yep.
Wait, how would you find the comment?
Just the ones with the biggest population that speak it. So we want to join country. SC2. On what? Nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you want biggest populations, let's try this for now. Okay. Hold on. Might have messed up the order here. There we go. funsies. Let's check the population here. All right, and if you want the top 5, what other command should we use? Okay, limit. What else? Order by and limit. Okay. Just order by? Or something else? In what order should we do it? Uh-huh. Descending. So just put this. Now try this. Look at that.
So I feel like that's really just showing, the top 5 most populous countries, but instead of saying the country name, it says the country name.
Not necessarily.
But,
Actually, you're like half right. Because it's not just the population. We want,
we want the sum of all the populations of all the countries.
Yes,
that has
you're right.
official language.
Hold on. You know why it looks like that? No, I'm serious. Some countries, sometimes there's one country with an official language, and it just so happens to be that China's pretty big. I don't remember when this data was made, but I'm pretty sure China's bigger than 1.2 billion. Let me check. You can't really group by a number. So, try grouping by language. It shouldn't even do this. You sure it's out by?
Yeah, it's yours is one during I'm 1 during.
Are our commands the same? Either way, I gotta wrap this up because it's 6. So
Can you only order by campaign type? Rather see that kind of order by character type.
I think it checks alphabetically, if I remember right, but that doesn't really help us here. Either way, thanks for coming. I mean, yeah, I gotta end it somewhere. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about SQL.